This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks and MChem 24-hour Pharmacy. Hello everybody, it's Cape Rugby TV time and we talk about what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. Very exciting to have you along as we do every Wednesday night. And of course the repeat on Saturday. Big thanks to our partners on board with us. Direct Access, your financial partners. Score Energy Drinks, of course sponsors to the Western Province Club Rugby Sevens. MChem 24-hour Pharmacy with all the free parking on the corner of N1 and Durban Road. Yes, Electrical are on board with us. And of course Intercape. And as you know, Intercape are the official transport providers to Western Province Rugby and the DHL Stormers. We've got some great competitions for you today, as we always do. We give away a case of Score Energy Drinks. That comes up a little bit later. And we'll give you a chance to win yourself a set of double tickets, courtesy of Intercape, to go and watch the Western Province Rugby's next home game at Newlands. So that's coming up a little bit later during the course of the show. Let me introduce you to my panel before I tell you which the matches are that we are looking at this week. Jerome Parvater, how are you, meneer?
Very good, JP. I saw in the newspaper today, they say the damme staan boep.
Die damme staan boep. I'm wondering which newspaper it is that you're reading.
The burger.
Die burger. Die damme staan boep. Faisal Felton, nice to have you here.
Good evening, James. Good to be here again.
We're looking forward to chatting to you tonight because we know that you're at the end of the first round in the divisions. So now we're into the promotion leagues and of course the bottom sixes as well.
Yes, I think we're into the final stages now of the second half of the season. Lots of excitement. The start of the second half of the season. I think it's lots of new competition. I think the teams now in the top 9 promotion league. It's going to be exciting. I think everybody's been looking forward to it. We've now distinguished in terms of the who's who, in terms of the leagues and stuff.
Right, folks, so we will be taking a look at how we got to the Northerns, at least the promotion league, and of course the pools A, B, C, and D. Match highlights tonight. We'll take a look at the match between Northern's Peninsula, what was referred to as a league decider. That's of course in the Southern League. Big match there between 1 and 2 in the Southern League. We'll speak to the coaches and captains, John Caister and Colbin Philly, as well as Yusuf Martin and Grant Hugh. John and Colbin, of course, coach and captain at Peninsula, and Yusuf and Grant, coach and captain at Northerns. Our Curry Cup feature this evening, we'll be catching up with Sir Joel Peterson, one of my favorite players who always makes magic happen. Jerome, quickly, before we go to that, Herschel Janchis rescues the Springboks.
Again, eh?
Isn't that classic?
No, that's very good, JP.
Did you think last week when we had this conversation, well, that's about the max that he can get, and then he goes and rescues the Springboks against the All Blacks?
No, I think everybody was like, you get that once in a lifetime, and then you get another opportunity, and then you go and even the game for the Boks.
You and even the game for the Boks. Well, folks, you'll know then that we spoke about Herschel Janchis last week. All right, let's catch up now with our first highlights, which is, of course, Northerns against Peninsula. We'll take a look at the first half. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks and MChem 24-hour Pharmacy. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks and MChem 24-hour pharmacy. Right, welcome back everybody. Halftime score then. Northern's leading 17-0. This is in the Southern League. It's a 1 and 2 fixture. Jerome, your feelings on the game there?
Yeah, I mean, Northern's did well there. The first half, I think Peninsula were a bit bad luck because they were 2 times on the try line, which they couldn't finish. But Northern's did well, and I saw that last scrum they dominated the set pieces. They scrum there, for like a pushover try there, and that's already to the opponents. Yeah. If you scrum like that, you get scrum like that, then you're already on the back foot. So yeah, great first half on Northerns. And I went out there last Thursday. Abraham Fredericks asked me to go, and I was surprised, JP, because it was raining. They had 40 players on the field there, and it's on an evening like that. I thought like there's not going to be players. So you can see. I mean, if you look at the first half, yeah. You can see why they dominate the game.
All right, let's take a look at the second half. Peninsula then, at least Northern's going into the halftime 17-0. Let's take a look second half. Of course, the barometer showed us that this was going to be a Northern's win. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks and MChem 24-hour pharmacy. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks and MChem 24-hour pharmacy. Right, welcome back everybody. Lots of fun and games after the off-air, should we call it that. Then Northern's taking the game there, 48 points to 19. As you can see the results on screen there. Faisal, good win for Northern's. Big bash there, Northern's Peninsula. They've come out on top. We know that there were some big games between them and Retreat, for example. The guys were really challenging in the Southern League. But I see Northern's has got a few old faces there.
No, definitely, Japes. I think it's good to see Northerns again on top. It just shows, the morale amongst the guys. You can see it's on high, it's positive. Yeah, a lot of old guys, a lot of old faces there. It makes me feel like I need to get my boots out again and get cracking there. Some of the guys that I see out playing.
I was about to say, I remember a few years back we had I think it was the Tinus Lanier Day, and we had a Legends team playing there. And if I recall correctly, you were playing for the Legends.
Yes, I think it was 3 tries on that day.
You had a breakaway try. You were playing prop, right?
Yeah, still prop in that day. But I mean, looking out there and that
there, a lot of that guys are still playing.
They're still playing in that, yeah. So
yes, they obviously didn't get the message.
They didn't get the message.
We finished the Legends a while back.
No, but I think it's good. I mean, if you look at Northerns, you need that balance of the experience and that. Yeah. You can clearly see some of the guys, I think they definitely add a lot of value to that team, especially with the youngsters, bringing them together. I think you see Donovan Sinclair playing there. I don't know what's his name is. Tumkis still playing out there on the centre and that there. I think they still got a lot to offer, clearly. And I think it's good for the youngsters and that you have that experience amongst them, and just keep them focused and keep them on track. I think they've done very well. First half, winning the section. I think they've done very well against Peninsula.
Is there anything you talk about winning the section? And when Abram phoned me to say, can we please come film the game, he said that this was a league decider. But so, is there any accolades for this first round, or
no,
not really?
No, definitely. So after the first round, you get a first round winner. So in the Northern City and the Southern League, it'll be a decider in terms of 1 and 2 who finishes on top. So after this, Northern City and Southern, the top 3 teams from each of these sections will then go to the top 9 competitions.
Do you get any trophies or anything for winning this first round?
Yes, definitely. There is a trophy. There's something to play for. There's always something to play for. I think that's what keeps the guys going. Okay. So it'll be now good to see how they fare amongst the other regions and that. So
you can in fact end up winning 2 trophies this year.
Definitely 2 trophies up for grabs. Yeah. So it'll be good to see how the guys fare in the second round.
Yeah. All right, folks, let's quickly take a look at the log then. As you can see, the top of the log is Noordlikers, followed by CPUT, Peninsula, Lagunya. And there's your top 3 that'll go now into the promotion league. Noordlikers, CPUT, and Peninsula. We'll play out to the ad break with our coaches and captains from the Northern's Peninsula game. And then when we come back, we'll be taking a look at some of the highlights from Super League A that were sent into us. Marty's up against the Hamiltons, Unimil up against False Bay. And don't forget, a little bit later in the show, we'll catch up with Sergio Peterson. He's, of course, Curry Cup, DHL Western Province Curry Cup wing playing at the moment. We'll be back in a sec. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks, and MChem 24-hour Pharmacy.
Ons het geweet ons gaan sukkel vandag, want hulle het obviously die spoed agter. Hulle speel meestal met hulle backline, so dit's een van daai dinge. Laasweek het ons ook verloor, die week verloor. Maar miskien het die mense die verlore nodig, van top 9 gaan nie maklik wees nie, om net die ouens terug te bring na reality toe. Kyk, ons het verlede week 'n paar wedstryde gaan kyk en dit was hard. So die manne weet dit gaan hard wees. Is nou ons sal moet opstep as ons wil Super League toe gaan, ja.
Ons sien regtig uit na die uitdaging vir die top 9. Vandag was maar 'n voorsmaakie gewees vir hoe dit regtig gaan. Dit gaan vir die volgende 9 weke of hoeveel weke al ook is, gaan elke naweek gaan dit so intens is. So 'n bietjie van 'n voorsmaakie en die man het 'n bietjie 'n herinnering aan die manne dat dit is wat gegaan en die manne moet maar net kop hou.
Wel dan aan die boys. Ek dink ons moet ek maar sê dankie aan die oppositie wat ons die kanse gee het om ons talente uit te stal. En ek dink die structures en die voorbereiding vir die pre-season, alles is 'n kombinasie van die liga self, waar ons is op die liga, in die liga, sê self die structures en die strukture, alles is reg.
Eerste halftyd het ons 'n bietjie gesukkel. Ons het aan die gou gekom en toe sit halftime. Na halftime toe sê coach vir ons moet weer optel. Ja, maar die laaste 20 minute het ons weer 'n bietjie uitgesak. Jy weet die jong ouens hulle het ywerig en ek dink vir die seisoen nog vorentoe. Ons gaan ons nou in vir die top 9, so ons gaan vorentoe is.
This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks, and MChem 24-hour Pharmacy. Hello everybody, welcome back. Cape Rugby TV time. We're going to take a look at the match between Marties and Hamiltons in a second. Remember, if you want to win yourself a case of Score energy drinks, 33090. Just SMS the word SCORE to 33090. The competition comes up a little bit later in the show, so keep your mobile phones handy. Super League A match, then our first look of the week was Stellenbosch against Hamiltons. They're of course back now. The universities are back, and we have no doubt that Stellenbosch is going to come running like a freight train. Let's take a look at some of the highlights. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks and MChem 24-hour Pharmacy. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks and MChem 24-hour Pharmacy. Right, welcome back folks. Then Marty's walking away with a 68 points to 14 win over Hamilton's there. Faisal, you were just saying in the break there that when Marty's play, you always see a runner run onto the ball.
No, definitely. I think when I also play, there always seems to be somebody in support in that, and I think that's it's a different. I don't know if it's maybe the youngsters in that they have got going. They always full of energy. But it just seems, you can throw the ball and somebody's running onto that ball. Yeah.
Let's quickly take a look at the logs in Super League A. Of course, a big game there, Marty's Hamiltons. We're going to take a look. There we go. False Bay leading at the moment. They're sitting on 50 points, followed by Durban, then UCT, Unimil, Brackenfell, and UWC. And folks, you can see on the log there that the top 6 is where everybody's trying to get to at the moment. Now, Stellenbosch, just a week or two ago, was sitting around number 11 on the log. And they're currently sitting at number 8. They've only played 6 games. They've still got 5 games in hand. Jerome, just looking at that, Stellenbosch now basically since they came back, and tonight they play again, they're just racking up 5 points at a time. They're coming hard and fast, and they will make themselves into the top 6 if they can.
It's going to take a team to beat them, and if your defensive systems are poor against them, they're going to run record. And if you're not fit enough, that last 20 minutes, that's where they're going to kill you. because as Faisal was saying, is they play into space, they can play the ball wide, and they also, the forwards, the youngsters, but they don't shy away from the physical battle.
So, I mean, what is it that makes them so good? Because we were talking about this now off air. If you take the flank or lock or centre from one team and you compare it to Marty's, is there really such a big difference? Or is it all the little things that add up? Good coaching, time on your hands, depth in the squad. What is it that puts Stellenbosch, makes them such a dangerous outfit?
Yeah, look, they're obviously students that because most of the club guys are working, and it's tough, especially if you play Marty's on a Wednesday evening. It's going to be tough because you come from work, so you're going to play against them. But I must say also, the Marty's coaches, their work ethic and what they put in, it's a lot of planning behind the scenes and the info they give back to the players. They obviously are equipped with everything, but so I think all the other club coaches, but it comes down to work ethic.
Yeah. Right then, Marty's up against Hamilton's. As you can see, they are coming strong. No doubt that they will be able to get themselves into the top 6. They've still got a few games in hand. Right, if you want to win yourself a case of Score energy drinks, 33090 is the number that you need to message. Just grab your mobile phone and send the word SCORE to 33090. Congratulations then to last week's winner, Luke Manuel. Luke, you are this week's Cape Rugby TV winner. Someone from Cape Rugby TV is going to get in touch with you shortly, and you walk away with a case of Score energy drinks. We're of course looking forward to the Score 7s that happens a little bit later in the year. As you know, Score is the official partner to the Western Province Club Rugby 7s, and last year so many of those clubs were wearing the Score jerseys, which I think is absolutely fantastic. Right, coming up after the break, we'll be taking a look at the match between Unimil and False Bay. This was a massive game, and Ishmael Dolly didn't believe that he actually had some statistics in his favor, according to the barometer. Don't forget, we'll take a look at the barometer a little bit later during the show, and we'll take a look at Belleville up against Hamlets, and Langa against Scottsdene, and False Bay against UCT. So a couple of interesting barometer statistics coming your way. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back. Unimil were up against False Bay this weekend. Of course, as you know, those teams are playing for the top positions in the Super League A League at the moment. We'll take a look, of course, at the promotion structures in a minute. But first, let's catch up now with the match between Unimil and False Bay. Of course, Ismail Dolly, coach at Unimil, was kind enough to send us the game as they hosted False Bay. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks, and MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks and MChem 24-hour pharmacy. It's Cape Rugby TV time. Every Wednesday we take a look at what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. Right, Jerome, let's go to you first of all here. It was a win for False Bay, 29-16. As I said to you, Ishmael Dali didn't believe that some of the stats were actually in his favour and that they could have maybe scored a bit of an upset here. The barometer last week told us that Unimil at home score 53 points on average, and False Bay away score on average 40 points. So in fact, and the barometer of course told us that after you average up all those scores, that Unimil was going to be winning this game. Clearly our barometer isn't that accurate, although it's just a bit of fun. But Unimil had a good shot at taking this game.
They had, yeah, but I also think it was the wrong time to take False Bay on, because they had come off 2 games where they just managed to beat the opponents. So obviously Jono would tell their guys to step up a bit, and I think one aspect of the game which they step up was their defense. So Unimil normally score tries, but they struggle. They could only get 1 try, so they struggle a bit there against them. But I should think that they had opportunities, but like I say, the defense of False Bay was just too good.
Yeah, if we look at that in terms of the season average, prior to this game, it was points against was definitely against Unimil. So their defensive structure, as you say, not as strong as False Bay if we look at the points. But having said that, Unimil have scored more points this season than False Bay, which maybe one wouldn't have thought. So Faisal, the attacking factor was in Unimil's favour.
No, definitely.
But not enough.
Not enough, yeah. I think it's now crunch time, coming closer to the end, the top 6 and that, everybody, I think the hunger's there. As Jerome said, I think False Bay was a bit worried after the last 2 games, very close. I think it's going to get even tougher in that, especially now you got the Marties coming back. That top 6, it's going to be down to the wire. So
it's going to be close.
Yeah. So the teams at the bottom, I think, are a lot more hungry. They've got a lot more to play for, survival, and so I'm sure coming up, you saw this weekend, there's going to be a lot more upsets.
Yeah. Folks, when we come back from the break, we're going to be catching up with Sergio Peterson, who's of course playing wing for the DHL Western Province Currie Cup side. Let's quickly take a look at the results then that came in over the weekend. And as you can see there, it was Villagers with a win over Paarl, UCT with a win over Brackenfell, Unimil went down to False Bay, UWC beating Primrose, Stellenbosch with a win over Hamiltons, SK Warmers went down to Tygerberg, and then Kales River with a win over Vineyards, Hamlets with a win over Goodwood, Belleville with a win over Helderberg, Macassar went down by just 1 point to Busy Bees, Franschhoek with a draw against St George's, Belhar with a win over All Saints, Rangers beating Collegians 32 points to 29. In Super League C, we see LCS Rafia 46-5 over Kylamore, Strand with a win over Strand United, Lunga with a win over Hands and Hearts, Kraaifontein 66-0 over Manenberg, Blue Jets 49-18 over Blue Stars and Young Wesleys. They went down Peniel Villagers. In the City League, Caledonian Roses went down to Police, Hamadias drew with Violets 10-all, and then Western Zebras went down to Gardens. Let's just pause there quickly. Jerome, the Violets Hamadias game is something that's worth taking a look at. We said that was a 1-2 result. We said that it was almost impossible in terms of the barometer. What a match, 10-all.
I think I call a draw. Morgan, he was supposed to be here today, but he ran away. I think he said that. I think he said Violets is going to win. But yeah, but last week, JP, I must say, as a coach, if I look at the barometer, you can actually see. I think that's why Jono, he would actually have a look at it and see like the points that Unimil was scoring, so he can work his defense out. And last week we said it was quite tight with Hamadias and Violets.
Yeah, folks, we'll play. In fact, we will come back from the break then, but as I mentioned, we will catch up with Sergio Peterson, Currie Cup wing for the DHL Currie Cup side. We'll be back after the break.
Hi, my name is Cole Adams. I'm Twins. I'm 10. When I grow up, I want to be a professional soccer player.
I want to be a soccer star, sir.
It's important to have dreams so that you can achieve your goal.
When you were my age, did you know what you want to dream of? And
I always wanted to do something in sport. You know, I excelled in rugby, athletics. So it was always a plan to be a sportsman and kind of living the dream, living what I dreamt of when I was your age.
What age did you start playing rugby?
I started playing rugby even before I went to school. So I was like 5, 4, you know.
What rugby team did you play before this?
Before I came here, I played for 2 teams before I came here. I was the Cheetahs. The most recent was the Cheetahs, but before that, I started off at the Kings in PE.
Welcome back, everybody. Cape Rugby TV. As you know, we catch up weekly with the DHL Western Province Rugby Currie Cup side, and they train at the High Performance Centre in Bellville, where our best of the Western Province boys are always in action. We catch up this week with Sergio Peterson, who's playing wing at Western Province. I love it when he gets the ball in hand. There's always magic going to happen. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks and MChem 24-hour Pharmacy.
Ja, nee, het was een baie tough game geweest. Het was een baie vinnig game geweest. Ik bedoel, ons het die game gehad in die begin om 21-7 te lead en dan die game net by die einde te slip met die game. Ek dink is net bietjie onsself van ons voete afgespeel. Hulle het net lyk my by die einde net meer gehad het. So ek dink dit sal net goed doen om 'n bietjie 'n break te kry. Veral nou lekker in die middel van die campaign. Nie te laat, nie te vroeg in die campaign nie. So ek dink dis 'n nice balance en ek dink especially vir die next 2 dae, soos vandag en môre gaan ons taaf daar weer vir ons aangesien ons nou af het die naweek, so ek dink die naweek sal goed wees vir ons. Ons moet nou, ons is nou in 'n posisie waar ons nou moet die next 3 games wen om 'n home series te kry. En ek dink dit is doenbaar. Veral ons laaste home game volgende week. So ek dink die boys sien baie uit. Ek sien vandag die manne by oefening is die manne baie opgegee. So ek dink ek hoop maar nou leading in volgende week die nou 'n goeie stepping stone vir die week.
This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks and MChem 24-hour Pharmacy. Sergio Peterson, they're playing for the DHL Western Province Currie Cup side. Jerome, next game for the Currie Cup boys this weekend?
Yeah, you said Sergio could do magic. He couldn't do magic against the Lions. Their next game is next Friday against the Pumas at Newlands.
Yeah. So next Friday, folks, that's your next home game. Remember, 33090. Just tell us who is the official transport provider to Western Province Rugby. You can see it on the screen behind me there. Those two. SMS that word, 33090. Right, of course, as you know, before we go into the break, and after the break we'll be taking a look at some of the fixtures coming this weekend. Let's just quickly take a look at the promotion and, of course, the divisions splits. Faisal, let's talk about this quickly. The way that Western Province is structured, just tell us what is the promotion league and how do we get to it?
And the promotion league is the Northern City and Southern. Yeah. The top 3 teams from each of the Northern City and Southern will go up to form a promotion league. And basically, from the promotion league, you will have 3 teams going up. So 1 and 2 is automatic. 3 and 4 will play off against each other, and the winner of that game will then progress to Super League C.
So there's 9 teams in the promotion league. Let's take a look at the promotion league then. You can see it there. It's Blake's, Peninsula Violets, Noordlikes, Eerste Rivier, Hamadias, Albions, CPUT and Masi Pumulele. Those are your 9 teams that are in the promotion league. So Faisal, if we just look at those 9 teams that we had up on the league there in the structures, those are of course the top 3 from the Northern League, the City League, the Southern League. So do they all play 8 games now?
Yeah, so they'll play a single round competition, 8 games, and after that, the top 2 teams will go up definite, and then 3 and 4 play against each other.
Right, then the other component is, of course, the pools A, B, C, and D. Yeah. Just explain to us how that works.
Yeah, so what happened now is the remaining teams that's left over, so the top 3 teams went up from Northern City and Southern. The remaining sides will then play off. Basically, they'll be put into pools A, B, and C and D based on where they finish off. All the teams that ended 4th in the Northern City and Southern will be divided. So what happens now is you play against teams that you wouldn't normally play against. In previous years, you basically went and played against the same teams in your northern region or the city or the southern regions. Now it's a mixed pool. So I think it's definitely something to play for. I think at the end of this, you can basically call yourself the regional champion.
All right.
You've played against from all divisions.
All right, let's take a look at the pools then, for folks, so you know what's coming up over the next few weeks. Pool A, Solarians, Police, Laguna, Fisantekraal, Rocklands, Mintmill. And then in Pool B, we see Gardens, Young Stars, Silvertree, Van der Stel, Fora, and Delft. And then Pool C, Excelsior, Progress, Young Ideas, Atlantis, Whistling Wheels, Thistles. And then Pool D, Stelcor, Gordon Leopards, Titans Retreat, Caledonian Roses, and Western Zebras. Faisal, I suppose the one part that is interesting there is in those pool structures, we see the Simonsburg region also in.
No, definitely. I think it's also something for them also to mix. So the whole idea is to put everybody into a pot and basically play against each other. So the different regions come together. In the previously you would have the northern region based on where your club is situated. You'll play against each other, but now we're having cross, which means a little bit more traveling, but I think it's a lot more exciting.
Yeah.
Because now you're measuring, because everybody has this perception the northern region or the city region is stronger than the southern region. So now you're testing against all across the regions.
Okay, we need to give this a name. I know people refer to it as the bottom 6, but we need to give it a better name than the bottom 6. We know what the promotion league is, and those are the top 3 from each league. So we're going to come up with a name for the pool regions, but very exciting to see this structure. Will there be a prize?
Definitely, there's always a prize, there's always a trophy. I think that's what keeps the guys going. Like I said, at the end of the day, I think this determines who the champion is, the regional champion, and that is. So there has to be a prize. There has to be a trophy. Yeah.
Fantastic. Folks, we're going to take an ad break. When we come back from the break, we'll be taking a look at some of the fixtures this weekend. Don't forget MChem 24-hour pharmacy on the corner of N1 and Durban Road. Open 24 hours a day. Free parking. It doesn't get better than that. They've got a fantastic little coffee shop upstairs. They've got all your medicines. They, of course, are the official providers to Western Province Rugby and the DHL Stormers, to the guys down the road at HPC. Very easy to find. They really got everything you need, from your sports nutrition supplements to all your medical products and everything that you need. So get down to MChem 24-hour pharmacy. Very easy to find. Just drive down the N1. It's on your right-hand side if you're going out of Cape Town. Coming into Cape Town, it's on your left-hand side. Look for the big MChem circle. We're taking an ad break. When we come back from the break, we'll take a look at this weekend's fixtures.
Cole Adams.
I'm Connor Adams.
I'm the twins.
I'm 10.
When I grow up, I want to be a professional soccer player.
I want to be a soccer star, sir.
It's important to have dreams so that you can achieve your goal.
When you were my age, did you know what you wanted to dream of? And
I always wanted to do something in sport. I excelled in rugby, athletics. So it was always a plan to be a sportsman and kind of living the dream, living what I dreamt of when I was your age.
What age did you start playing rugby?
I started playing rugby even before I went to school. So I was like 5, 4.
What rugby team did you play before this?
Before I came here, I played for 2 teams before I came here. I was the Cheetahs. The most recent was the Cheetahs, but before that, I started off at the Kings in PE.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Cape Rugby TV time. Remember, you can find us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Cape Rugby TV, or you search for us on YouTube, Cape Rugby TV. You find all those matches, highlights, and captains and coaches interviews. Anything you might have missed, you can still catch up on YouTube. Right, folks, your fixtures coming up then this weekend. UWC against Durban and Super League A. Primrose and Villages, Paarl and Tygerberg. Hamilton's SK, False Bay UCT, and Brackenfell up against Stellenbosch. Okay, we're going to take a look at the barometer, and our barometer match that we're looking at, because we look for the highest in terms of the log, as well as the shortest split between log positions. So log position 1 and 3 this weekend is False Bay up against UCT. Jerome, I'm going to start off with you. The barometer tells me that False Bay are going to win this game. They have a higher average, a higher home score than UCT has got average away score. False Bay are stronger on attack, they are stronger on defense, and they have the fan factor in their favor. Is this going to be a False Bay win?
I think this week I'm going to go against the barometer. I think UCT is going to take this one.
Yeah.
Just look at their last 2 games, the way they were playing. It's going to be tough, but I think UCT.
You're going with UCT. Faisal Felton, do you want to throw your 2 cents in the hat?
A UCT.
Yeah. All right.
I always go for the underdog. So
you're going to go with the underdog?
Yeah, I think UCT can pull it off.
The fan factor, I think, is going to play a big role here, but we'll see what the barometer says as we go along. Currently, the barometer says that False Bay has got it in their favor. We'll see what we come back with next week. Right, let's take a look at the fixtures then in Super League B. As Young People's up against Vineyard, St. George's and Belhar. Macassar take on Rangers, Kailsriver and All Saints. Goodwood Collegians and Belleville and Hamlets. Now that has to be the pick of the week in Super League B. Belleville and Hamlets. It's 2 up against 4. Currently sitting on the log, Belleville on 47 points. The Hamlets are sitting at 45 points. And the barometer tells us, though, that the fan favorite, at least the barometer, is in favor of Hamlets. Now, Jerome, this is particularly interesting because Hamlets normally get the fan factor in their favor. They're playing away, but interestingly enough, Hamlets have really done well away this season. And I think that's why so many of the stats is going in their favor, even though Belleville have the home ground advantage. The barometer says Hamlets is going to win this game.
Yeah, the one thing that I would say is even is the fan factor would be even. I hope Belleville has got enough space for the buses of Hamlets coming. But yeah, but I think this is going to be a tough one. But Hamlets are playing good rugby. They can score tries. Yep. Belleville can score tries, but one problem of Belleville is they have to look after their defense. And if you don't defend well against Hamlets, you're going to have a long day.
Well, that's an interesting point. Let's quickly move along then. We're running a little bit short on time. Faisal, you got anything to throw in the hat there?
Yeah, I just think that you asked Jerome a question, he hasn't given an answer.
He didn't, you're right. Jerome, you
didn't
give
answer. I don't know if he's scared of the family or what the story is. He hasn't.
Let's ask him that question now then. Jerome, the barometer, is it right or wrong? The barometer says Hamlets is going to win this game.
The barometer is right.
The barometer is right. Faisal, your turn to answer the question.
Belleville.
Belleville. You say the barometer is wrong.
I say the barometer is wrong. I think Belleville's going to pull it off. I've been at Belleville when they've had the home games, and I think the fans are going to pull them through. The passion I've seen of the players in that there, that's going to pull them through.
All right. Well, the barometer says that you are wrong, but we'll see what we come back with next week. Let's take a look at the fixtures in Super League C now. Strand United up against Hands and Hearts, Penil Villages and Blue Jets, Morningstar, Kraaifontein, Manenberg Rangers and Elsie's Langa, Scottsdene, Cullimore Strand, Blue Stars and Wraithby. All right, so the picks that we've got there is a 1 and 4. Langa's currently sitting at number 4 on the log. Scottsdene is sitting at number 1 on the log. And the barometer tells us that this is going to be another away win. This is going to be an away win for Scottsdene. Scottsdene travel to Langa. Jerome, Scottsdene are currently scoring 34 points away from home. And Langa at home is scoring 25. Scottsdene has got the attack in their favor. They've scored more points this season, whereas Langa has got defense in their favor. They've had less points scored against them. Barometer says Scottsdene is going to win. Is the barometer lying?
I think the barometer is right, JP, because Scottsdene also, they travel well, so I think they're going to take this one.
Yeah, right. You say the barometer's got it right. Faisal, barometer lying or not?
Lying again. I'm telling you, it's going to be Langa. At home, Langa is always difficult. It's very difficult to go there and actually win against them. So
but the barometer did give the fan factor, as you say, to Langa, and it's still not enough.
No, I think definitely, besides the fans and that, they're playing at Langa on the field, it's a different story. Passion is going to pull them through.
Passion's going to pull them through.
Definitely.
All right. Well, that means we could see a change in the log. Well, depending, of course, on hands and hearts, I think, in Super League C. Right, let's take a look now at the fixtures coming up in the Paarl region this weekend. Young Gardens up against Peril United, the Violets against Simondium, Lower Paarl against Paarl Rangers, and Allendale take on Young Standards. We've managed to pick 2 games for you there. The first one is, of course, a 1 and 2, so this is Lower Paarl up against Paarl Rangers. Lower Paarl have scored, so this one's very close, gentlemen. The barometer scenario doesn't really, we got the home ground factor, which kind of negates the numbers here, but the fact is that in this case, Lower Paarl have scored at home 39 points. Paarl Rangers are scoring on average away 47. It does put the attack factor in favor of Paarl Rangers, the defense factor in favor of Paarl Rangers, the home factor in favor of Lower Paarl. The barometer, Jerome, says that Paarl Rangers, who's currently number 1 in the log, is going to walk away with the win here. Your thoughts?
I think fan factor even out there. It's Paarl, both teams, but I think the barometer is right.
All right, Faisal, there you see it on the big screen behind you now. Faisal, let's go to you. Paarl Rangers or Lower Paarl? Barometer.
I would say Paarl Rangers, just to, otherwise I'm going to not hear the end of it from Mr. Eugene. So I would definitely say I think Paarl Rangers is going to pull through in that.
Right, folks, that is a massive game this weekend in the Paarl League. Of course, they've still got a lot of games to play. They've got to play a number of games. We'll take a look at that next week. Let's quickly take a look at Allendale up against Young Standard, still in the Paarl region now. This is a 4 and 5 matchup. The barometer at home is in favor of Allendale, scoring at home on average of 37 points. Young Standards, when they play away, are scoring an average of 24. Right, so the attack factor is in favor of Allendale. The defense factor is in favor of Young Standards. The barometer says Allendale's going to win this game. Jerome?
Barometer's right.
Barometer's right. Faisal Felton?
Young Standards.
Faisal's just going against it. He's not even looking at the stats.
No, I'm looking at it.
He mustn't be the same as Morgan, not being here next week.
No, I think at the end of the day, I think Young Standards can pull it through. The underdogs, they've got a lot to play for, and I think Young Standards definitely.
You see, now you're bringing in all sorts of information that
I know a lot of stuff behind the scenes.
What is it that we have not put into this barometer?
There's a lot of stuff. It's the passion of the guys. I think the administrators you haven't put in there in terms of how they, especially in Paarl and that. It's always a tough fact, as Jerome said. There is no home ground advantage either way. So I'm taking that into consideration. And if I look at it, I think Young Standards are going to pull through.
All right. Well, even if we took away the home ground advantage, it would still be an Allendale win. Having said that, I think we will have to take some of the facts that you mentioned and maybe build it into the barometer.
Definitely.
We're, of course, going on match statistics. Jerome, nice to have you on the show as always. Your plans for the weekend?
Yeah, I'm in Potchefstroom we're playing the Leopards on Saturday.
Yep.
So I'm there on Saturday.
The under 21s and the Currie Cup action playing against the Leopards. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Faisal Felton, your plans for the weekend? Have you picked a game?
No, I think it's probably my first week that a bit quiet in that there. But definitely I think this week out to Club Rugby. I'm not sure what games. There's a lot happening. So yes, definitely out there.
Yep, you've got your hands full, as everybody.
Always.
And of course, it's the start of the promotion league this weekend, start of the divisions. So you guys have got your hands full. Folks, of course, next week we'll have the fixtures for you for those leagues. That's a wrap from us here at Cape Rugby TV. We'll see you again next week, same time, same place. Have a fantastic rugby weekend. Bye-bye. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks, and Eps31 24-hour Pharmacy.